I cried. I was trying to act like I was just misty-eyed. No, I cried. I didn't burst into tears yet, which is something I anticipated, but instead, in between those commercials of I Am My Monster and the future, I got really choked up. Thank you for everything, Steven Universe. I have a very particular send-off video for the series planned, but for now, we have much to talk about. It is okay to cry. Please know that. Let's begin. Welcome back to Crystal Clear. I'm Ostrich Vox, and Steven Universe Future finally concluded the saga of Steven Quartz Universe. And it did so not with a flashy final battle, but by the principle the show was founded upon, communication. But with so much to unpack, let's do a quick little recap of what we just witnessed and begin to dig into the ending a little bit there. Was that all she wrote? What lies in Steven's future? And what about all those damn unanswered questions? Let's talk about that, shall we? Of course, spoiler warning, if you have not watched the final episodes of Steven Universe Future, please click off now. With all that said, let's dive in. So to relive that tormenting liberation, after shattering and resurrecting the kindergarten quartz who could, Jasper, who pledged her allegiance to Steven, referring to him as my diamond, Steven has hit his ultimate rock bottom. In an already very difficult time of his life, Steven has committed the ultimate act that he feels puts him on the level of the diamonds, and he seeks out guidance for control of his new powers. However, when he arrives to Homeworld, Steven finds a pretty different society, and after a reunion with Spinel, the two go to each diamond, observing their new power, only for Steven to feel as if none of these abilities are the remedy. But on top of that, White's new power, the ability to invite people in, causes Steven to see the last thing he needs, himself as a diamond. And realizing he still has some lingering fear from White Diamond, Steven has a very intrusive, violent, vengeful thought to shatter White Diamond by slamming her head through a pillar. Something that greatly freaks both him and White out. Feeling as if he's no better than his mother, Steven grows to Pink Diamond's size, his hair becoming more akin to hers, and dropping one of his sandals Cinderella style. Returning back to his home, Steven is absolutely mortified by his physical appearance. Refusing to accept that he's anything like a diamond, he doubles down that he's good old Steven Universe, giving the assurance to Connie and the gems that everything is fine. Never spoiler warning, everything is not fine. And Steven decides to even head to Little Homeschool in order to help out. You know, the place that makes Steven feel god-awful from people moving on with their lives. The first real trigger to his spiral, needless to say, all keep blowing up right in his face, as his powers are at an all-time high. But luckily, Little Homeworld didn't burn to the ground, and Steven returns home only to find an intervention awaiting. Everyone giving Steven the assurance that he can open up to them, that they're worried about him. And this leads to absolutely the roughest scene in the series. Seriously, this entire episode really hurt to watch, but especially Steven confessing about everything that's been going on. Steven feeling as if he's a fraud. That all he does is messes things up, but then he fixes them again, over and over. One of Steven's biggest problems is made abundantly clear. He does not have his own Steven. He feels as if his problems are so small compared to everyone else's, and he never really had anyone by his side checking in with him on the level that he does with everyone else. But feeling as if he's a monster causes Steven to actually become one. A big old gem kaiju. And it is absolutely heart-wrenching. But again, instead of a big old epic battle, all the Crystal Gems, Connie, and Greg all assemble to Steven's aid, doing their best to hold him back. And they bust out the big guns. Lapis is on the case, Alexandrite? There's only so much they can do. Luckily, the Diamonds and Spinel arrive to return Steven his sandal, and Blue Diamond makes the observation that Steven appears as if he's corrupted, and you know, no one corrects her. But like, we've been new. Also, she's one of the three who induced corruption onto an entire population of gems. I'll take her word for it. The Diamonds try to use their powers to no avail. White tries to get through to Steven by becoming one with him, but all we get is a horrifying reaction accompanied with, "That is no longer Steven." I can't even imagine what went through his head. But in a way, I think this also further supports why this is his hybrid equivalent of corruption. The way Steven was acting, the fact White confirmed it wasn't even like him, much like how the gems throughout the series said, on a few occasions, that corrupted gems are no longer like themselves once they enter this monstrous state.
I'm sorry, Bismuth! This is not the Bigs you knew before!
Even the cluster gets in on the action trying to keep Steven at bay. It is ugly. Everyone begins to blame themselves for Steven's current state. Spinel and the Diamonds especially. And by this point, we know how all about herself White Diamond is, but Connie forces everyone to realize that Steven has always been there for their problems. And now they need to give him that support. They need to give him love. So Garnet has Yellow Diamond beef her up to giant woman size, and everyone rushes towards Steven, giving him a big old hug. Connie sealing the deal with a kiss. A move so powerful, Kaiju Steven begins to cry, his tears restoring him to his original state. And now that he's recovered, all Steven can do is, well, keep crying, finally letting out how he's been feeling. And finally, he knows without a doubt everyone is there for him. No one's leaving him behind, and he knows that he's loved. He wasn't just thrown away and forgotten once everyone figured themselves out. Time passes and things are looking up for Steven. He's decided to leave Beach City, taking Greg's advice from Mr. Universe and moving out, going on a world tour across all 39 states. Again, different reality from ours, before he figures out where he wants to settle down. And again, Steven is doing a lot better. He mentions having a therapist that he can video chat once he moves. The boy's out here doing yoga. I'm so proud of him. Steven went and did what we all strive to do. And for those out there already doing it, I'm proud of you. Please keep going. And for those of you who aren't out there, if you're not able to supply yourself with the resources needed to be able to get a therapist and just do more of the self-care you see portrayed in the media, and that goes for social media as well, that's also okay. Please keep going. But Steven feels as if he's gonna have a hard time telling the gems, so he breaks the news with Cookie Cat. The Crystal Gems this time rapping to Steven, bringing things full circle. Yet Steven feels as if the gems took the news too easily. They didn't really seem sad, or at least everyone else took the news harder than Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl. Even Jasper, who's now attending little homeschool, and Jasper, it's a start. I think that's a great place to cap off her story. But Steven gives departure gifts to everyone, all things that really compliment their character, and I definitely want to dig into it in my breakdown. We even finally get a mouth-to-mouth Converse kiss. Steven gives his room to Greg. Greg no longer has to live in a van. He's gonna be living with the Crystal Gems. I want that spinoff! And Steven says goodbye to Beach City. Just kidding. He wants to know why the gems aren't as sad as everyone else, but of course they're sad. They're trying to be strong. They're about to have empty nest syndrome. Actually, no, wait, they have a Greg. They were almost about to experience empty nest syndrome. No, but they probably actually are going to deal with that. And giving Steven a proper emotional goodbye, he goes off into the world in order to find himself, leaving his hometown and Beach City behind. But you're probably wondering, is leaving really Steven's best option? And I would say yes. He spent 16 years of his life living around people who after a while did have set in stone expectations for him and who he is. Steven's always encouraged change, but I don't think anyone really ever considered him changing. I mean, the gems embraced when he matured, but for the longest time, he was still the happy-go-lucky kid who believed in people, who always encouraged positivity and change for others. Spreading your wings and flying beyond your hometown is something a lot of people feel is crucial to figuring out who you are, being around a new set of people, and in Steven's case, he'll meet new people who won't have those expectations everyone else had. Maybe he'll have to answer some awkward questions about a viral Snapchat featuring a giant pink kaiju, but he'll be fine. It's something that the events of Business Casual kind of prepared him for, but it doesn't stop there. As an interview that just dropped with Rebecca Sugar from Comic Book, Roland Bishop asked Rebecca Sugar, why end here? To which Rebecca explained, we had finished the story we had written in 2012 and 2013 with Change Your Mind, and at the time I was given the impression that there would be no more show, so I was really passionately pitching the movie and pitching more serious stories then, because I didn't want to be done with these characters in this world. I'm glad that we have gotten to spend this time with the characters, and I feel that although it's been tumultuous in terms of that television landscape over the course of making the series, I feel that over the course of everything, we found a way to tell all the stories we had planned to tell, and also express the ways that we've grown as people and artists within that too. I want to make sure that Future was all about the process of moving on, so it would make it possible for us also. I always wanted to make sure that the show would make room for us to be able to talk about how we were feeling. That's always been a goal of the show. The movie also. We had worked so hard to complete Change Your Mind that the beginning of the movie was a reflection of how we felt, and that we couldn't believe we made it, and that was it. And we'd done everything, and then all of a sudden the movie was just this unbelievably huge challenge for us that we could have never been prepared for. So having the characters go through that with us is really cathartic. We had some stories that ended up now relating to the ultimate theme of Future. We had a really great Road Night story that I wish we could have done, but ultimately we told the story that we landed on. There's always been a lot of stories on the cutting room floor, and there are many that I think are great and are exciting, and a lot of times on the show, we would come up with something one season, and then we find a home for it 3 seasons later. Because Future was only 20 episodes long, that was impossible. But ultimately, we chose what we chose for a reason, and I feel really strong about the direction that we took this season in, so I don't have any regrets. The theme of Future is Steven's relationship with himself, and it's finding that ability to take care of yourself, to care about yourself. We realized at a certain point that that really had to be our focus, and so we began to relate everything to that scene. As we were approaching Future, we wanted to make sure that everything was new, which meant new openings, style cards, credits. With the original series, I always wanted the laundry hand to feel as if you were coming home and you were home at the beginning of every episode. Then in the moments where we would be away from home, like when he was staying in the country working on the drill, or if he was swept up in space, we would use different cards so you would feel how strange it was that he wasn't able to be home. So that theme of home, the warmth of home, was such a huge part of the original series. For Future, I wanted this feeling of momentum, that it wasn't about resting and it wasn't about staying still, that it was about going somewhere, moving towards something. I wanted you to feel that in every episode. I wanted you to feel like the restlessness of that, but I also wanted to feel like the hopefulness of that. Thank you to everyone. I'm really so grateful, and it's been such an incredible learning experience to work on the show. The support from fans, the enthusiasm, the way that people have paid such close attention to the stories that we've been working to tell, it's just been so moving, and I am blown away and so grateful. When I was younger, I was the kind of fan that would just dig into everything and analyze everything. If I loved the cartoon, it would give me a strength and excitement that would just carry through the rest of my life to lift me up. To see people react to our show that way, it's just been so incredible, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so honored. So thank you. There are a lot of unanswered questions from the Steven Universe franchise as a whole, and we'll look at them, those forever questions, but the future is bright and you can never know what could happen. But for now, Steven needs some time away, and I think we all do. And that's okay, there are other shows out there. And if Rebecca Sugar, the Crooniverse, and Cartoon Network all come together and say, hey, maybe there are some more stories to tell, or at least one more, that's fine too. But for now, we all just need a little time. We all just need something else instead. What did you think of the Steven Universe Future finale? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids. And for more of my own thoughts, you can always find me at Thoughts. We're also on Instagram. Help Roundtable grow by either becoming a member of this channel or supporting us over at Patreon. Link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching throughout all of these years. Stay tuned for our breakdown. I hope you have an awesome day. And if this and our next few videos may be the end of the road for you, although trust me, there's so much more to come in so many different ways, then have a great life. I love you. Thoughts, signing out.